Alrighty guys, I'm KC and welcome back to Minecraft Survivor. In today's episode, it's going to be slightly different. We're going to finish off sort of some of the stuff we started in the last episode, but more importantly, I want to have a chat and I want to talk about a couple of things. And the reason that I want to talk today is because of some unfortunate issues I've been suffering. So about 2 weeks ago, I started suffering from very minor toothache. It was very minor, it was just a little slightly irritating, but for the most part, it wasn't that bad. But then, a couple of days ago, it started to get worse. And it started to get to a point where I could no longer sleep starting yesterday, which is not very fun, if I'm being at all honest with you. I like my sleep. So I've spoken to my doctors and I've spoken to my dentist, and the earliest that any of them can see me is tomorrow. And so I kind of got to deal with it today. So my plan for today is to come in here to record just one episode of Minecraft Survival where I'm just going to talk for about 20 minutes straight, and then I'm going to go and sit down, take some paracetamol because I don't like taking any stronger painkillers, and I'm going to just try and ignore it. That's my plan for today, but we'll see exactly where that goes. So I thought I would talk about something that is kind of interesting to me, kind of matters to me, and that's family. But I also want to just start off by saying that I got a phone call this morning from my internet provider. Apparently there's some issues with the tower near me, which, to be honest, there's always issues with that damn tower. I mean, seriously, just replace it. Stop telling me that you're going to be taking me offline for a little bit. But anyway, they actually let me know this time that there may be outages. Well, I say I got a phone call. I didn't actually get a phone call. It was more like an email, but phone call sounds more professional. Does it not? Yes, they just sort of sent out letting us know that this area, there may be some ups and downs with the internet over the weekend. They anticipate a couple of hours worth of outage on Saturday, and if the work takes longer than expected, a couple of hours on Sunday, which means it shouldn't affect me at all. But the reason I want to talk about why family matters and why family is important, and why I want to talk about family, is because recently I lost an uncle, which isn't nice when you lose anyone, but it kind of got me to thinking that when I was a kid, my family was super close. Like, everyone in my family was just, they were really close, and it was common for us all to be around at each other's houses, and we always knew what was going on in each other's lives, and we were always part of each other's lives. But now it's we're not, and I come from one kind of family, and my wife comes from a completely different kind of family. And so I thought it'd be interesting to just talk about family and what family means to you. So I have a saying that I say to my close friends, because I class my close friends as family, and my saying, and I believe this to be true: family isn't blood. Family are those who are there for you. When I was homeless and I had no money, my friend helped out. There were certain members of my family I had turned to for help, and they turned me down. My friend, he was there. And to me, that's what makes people family, if they're there for you when you need them. But anyway, when I lost this uncle, I got to thinking about all of the family members that I've got, and all those that I barely talk to anymore. And there was a falling out in my family between a couple of them, and it was between my aunt and a niece and nephew. It didn't involve my uncle, from as far as I knew, but because of that, some people didn't go to his funeral, and it's just like, that's kind of where you need to draw the line. You should go to funerals, you should be there. And it just kind of made me realize that my family we're not as close as we used to be. And I want to take this moment to actually talk about a specific relationship that I had with my cousin. Not a relationship in that sense, but, you know, we were very close and we were like practically like brother and sister, or at least I thought we were. But she went off to uni and then I didn't hear from her at all for... She went off to uni in like 2012, 2013, and then I didn't hear from her till my uncle's funeral. That was the first time we spoke since then. And she'd come back to this end and she'd visited her sisters, but she never visited me. So I kind of thought that I'd done something to cause us to fall out, or I'd said something that I didn't know I'd said. But me being me, you know, I let people calm down. So I don't deal when people don't talk to me. I don't talk to them. I let them just deal with whatever they've got to deal with, and they'll talk to me when they're ready. You know, I don't like arguing. I don't like fighting. And so I kind of just left it be. But we talked at my uncle's funeral quite a lot. And it was just like old times. I never found out why she didn't talk to me for all those months, all those years, should I say. But recently, my mum and her mum are twins, okay? So my mum's been on about going to see my aunt for a couple of weeks now. Now, my aunt lives in the next city over. She's a couple of cities away. So it's a good 45-minute drive to get there. So it's not something that we can make, like, frequently. You know, not something we can make every day. It's, you know, once a week is all right. You know, it's not that far. You know, there are places where, you know, going to the next city is a lot further away than this. But, you know, it's not. So we're on about going down tomorrow. But I suppose that all depends, like, on how I go at the dentist. But we're on about going down tomorrow, and there's not really much that I can do to sort of get out of it. And, you know, and I keep thinking that, you know, well, I know that I'm not going to be able to record tomorrow because I've got the dentist at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm going to be driving to the next city, and then I'm going to be driving back, and then by the time I get back, it's probably going to be about 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. At which point, I've got my daughter, and I've got a lot of other things to do, and it's like, well, I don't normally get the time to record that late. I'm going to certainly try to get the time to record that late, because I do not want to go a day without this challenge. But, it got me to thinking about family. Oh, I just realised I put this on without even putting those in. This is going to make this slightly difficult look. Maybe I just take this out. And we can pop that there. Okay, can I do that one? Yes, I can. Cool. So, there's a double chest. Yes, cool. So I'm going to just sort of like tell you the history of me and my cousin. Because it revolves primarily around gaming. This is starting to look really nice in here. Now, my cousin and I, she used to always come and stay with me. Like, my whole life, as far as I can remember, she had a bedroom with me and my mum. You know? She was always kind of like there. And we played a lot of games together. And I remember this one time, we were hooked on The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. And we must have beat that game countless, and I mean countless times. And we beat it so much that we decided we was going to do what we called the in-style run. And this in-style run centered around the fact that in the game, if you held, I think it was the Z button, the Z button, if you held that, you could do backflips when moving forward. And there was this special attack that took a little bit of time to do, but you could do like a jumping slash. So we decided that every movement needed to be either a backflip or a roll. And that every single hit that we did needed to be with this like jumping slash. And it was really fun to do. And I don't quite remember too much about the run. But I just remember that it was just so much fun. And then we sat down, we spent the entire summer holidays actually playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. We lost many weekends when she would come to stay with us to Dynasty Warriors, from Dynasty Warriors 2 all the way through till 5. 6 wasn't out at that point. You know, and I really grew up as a gamer with my cousin. And, she played games that I didn't play, and I played games that she didn't play, but we usually played games together. And even after I met my wife, and even after I got my own place and whatnot, and I got engaged, my cousin kept coming to stay with me on the school holidays, on the weekends, and we would achievement hunt over on the 360. This was before the One came out. And they were the good times, And we were just super close. We used to have like a little camp out in the bedroom, and it was just so much fun, and so just family matters, And so when I got the opportunity, and my mum said to me yesterday, "Why don't we go and see Aunt?" I was like, you know what, we should. It would be nice. It would be really nice. And like I said, I lost my uncle. And when I lost my uncle, I got to thinking about my family. Yet again, another phone call saying, "Oh, I didn't know you were recording." Everyone knows what time I record. And this is when people ask me to, I'm throwing chests about. Temper. Yeah, that call enraged me so much I threw a chest. Anyway, now I've lost my train of thought. Where was I? I think I got... No, I didn't. I completely missed doing here. So, as I was saying, when my uncle passed away, I got to thinking a lot about my family and the members that we used to be really close and that we aren't anymore. And, I reached out to my dad. And now, I know that doesn't sound like much, but my story with my dad isn't a pretty one. I had this uncle, my Uncle Dan. And he was my nan's brother-in-law. Oh, I need some more. He was my nan's brother-in-law. Now, my granddad died of a couple of different things, but he died about 8 years before I was born. And so, my Uncle Dan believed, very much so, that after my granddad died, that my nan needed to be looked after by him, and it was his job to take care of my nan. Because back in those days, it was if your brother died, it was your job to take care of his wife and look after her. And he did, and they weren't in a relationship or anything. But just to help you kind of understand this a little bit more, my Uncle Dan and my granddad, they joined the army, and then after they joined the army, my granddad met my nan. My Uncle Dan was about 14, 15 when he came to live with my granddad. And he lived there ever since. So growing up, it was always my Uncle Dan, my granddad, and my nan. They always lived together. And now, I know my Uncle Dan went and got a flat at some point and lived on his own a little bit. But for the most part, he lived with them. And all the way growing up as a kid, he lived with them when I was a kid. He looked up to my nan's like a second mother, I guess, or a sister, And so when I grew up with my mum, my nan, and my Uncle Dan. My mum was a carer for my nan. She looked after my nan. And so many days were spent at my nan's. In fact, I would get up in the morning, wake up in my own home, and then we would travel from just down the street, just from around the corner. We would travel to my nan's, and I would stay there until school. And then when we got home from school, I would go straight to my nan's again. And then when it'd get about 8 o'clock in the evening, it was time for bed, we would go up home. And that'd be when we'd go up home. So when I say that my nan and my Uncle Dan were part of my life all the time, they were. Now, when I was a kid, I had some medical problems. And my kidneys were failing and not working. And I spent a lot of my kid years, a lot of my childhood, in and out of hospital. I wasn't allowed to play outside with other kids because I kept getting infections and the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me. And I spent a lot of time stuck inside of my nan's house because I couldn't go to school because I wasn't very well and I was getting infections and I needed to be protected from them. And I couldn't really go out and play with other kids. So I spent a lot of time with my nan and my Uncle Dan, and that was my family, And So I don't know what happened there. Just my computer went on like a freeze mode. So anyway, so I spent a lot of time with my Uncle Dan and my Nan growing up as a kid. And even after, because I'm getting all confused now. So even though my Nan had other grandkids, I was the only one who lived in the area. So I was always around my Nan. I was always around my Uncle Dan. And, so the other grandkids, they weren't around as much as I was. And even when we moved back to this village where my Nan's other kids were and where a lot of the other grandkids were, I would still go up after school and I would still go up on the weekends and I would still spend a lot of time at my Nan's and at my Uncle Dan's, even though a lot of the other grandkids and a lot of the other kids didn't. And it wasn't because there was like a falling out, we were all very, very close, but, my mum never remarried after my dad. I think she met someone, but I don't know what happened there. But my mum's very much, she likes her privacy. She likes her to be herself. She doesn't want to be tied down to a guy, and she's always been like that. But, all the other kids, they've got husbands and wives and their own sort of like family, and for me and my mum, the family was me, my mum, my Nan, my Uncle Dan, That was our family. And so I grew up with my Uncle Dan, and my Uncle Dan, when I was going through puberty, I would talk to my Uncle Dan. When I discovered something downstairs and I wasn't sure what it was, I went to my Uncle Dan. When I needed to learn how to shave and become a man, I borrowed my Uncle Dan's razor. And the one regret that I have is I never told my Uncle Dan like how much he really meant to me, and I didn't quite realize like how much of a father figure he'd been to me my whole life until I lost him. And so when I say that I reach out to my dad, I reach out to the guy who donated and gave birth to me, pretty much. I'm not talking about the guy who raised me. I'm not talking about the guy who taught me how to be a man, I'm talking about literally the guy who made me. And so, where are we? And so, I reached out to my dad to try and build a relationship between me and him, because we've never had one. Now, some people have a dad and they don't know where their dad is, or their dad is someone they don't know. That was never the case for me. I knew who my dad was. I saw my dad on a semi-regular basis. It was maybe once every month, maybe. He wasn't some guy who was, like my wife's dad. My wife has no idea who her dad is. At all. No idea. No memory of him. My dad wasn't like that. I actually have a memory. I actually know his name. I know stuff about him. But he's never really been around. And so I reached out to him and I was like, well, I don't want my dad to die and me to not have known the guy, really, And I have a nan on that side who's unfortunately very sick at the minute. But I'm very close to her. I actually spent an entire summer holiday with her, looking after her when she first became ill. But yeah, anyway, my point, wow, this is coming along. My point here is that when I lost my uncle, I decided it was time to start reaching out to members of my family. And, after Christmas, I'm going to be starting something called Family Friday Nights. Or Friday Family Nights. Or something like that. It's going to be a Friday night and I'm going to invite some family members over. And, I plan to break it down in the weeks. I'm going to have a movie night once a month, and then a poker night or something. And the idea is that it's going to be a day that I invite different members of my family over. My aunts, they enjoy watching films. They don't enjoy playing poker. My cousins, they probably will enjoy poker more than they will enjoy the the movies. So I plan to sort of mix it up a little bit, maybe having some gaming nights and stuff like that. And that's what I kind of want to try and get a message over to people. Like, if you've got family, don't wait until they're gone to say the things that you need to say, or to do the things with them that you want to do with them, you know. And make sure you spend your time with your family, you know, and don't cause unnecessary problems. Don't think that family members use you, you know. I got a member of my family who I consider myself to be very close to, but we don't actually speak that often outside of just casual chat, you know. So I don't really go round to her for a cup of tea. She doesn't come round to mine for a cup of tea. But the second that she needs something doing with her computer, she'll message me. She messaged me just a couple of days ago about a CD drive, and I'm more than happy to help. You know, whenever I need some help with my car, she knows more about cars than I do. I ask her for help, you know. And, you know, some people are so afraid to turn to family members because you think they're using you, you know. But try to get over that fear. Because I don't think for a second that when my cousin asks me to fix her laptop or her dad's laptop that she's using me. Because I know if I said to her, hey, you know what, I need a little help with my car. It's not turning over. Do you have any idea why? Or, hey, I'm looking to buy a new car. Can you give me some advice? I know she would. You know? And my mom's one of them people that she can be there for everyone. But no one is allowed to be there for her. She won't go to people with her problems. You know? She won't talk to people about her problems. Because she feels that it's her responsibility to look after everybody. And that people aren't going to care about her problems. That's what she thinks. And I just want to tell you, if you're one of those people, don't be. Your family will care. You know, I mean, maybe some people's family won't care. Maybe not everyone has like a nice family. But I'm sure that at some degree, there'll be somebody willing to listen. You know, and so often we find ourselves caught up on those little facts in life, like, you know, I shouldn't do this. You know, I shouldn't do... I'm not going to reach out to them because it'll be stupid. They'll think I'm in for something. Don't. Just reach out and see where it goes. You know, because you never know. You never know. I've got a gate banging on my backyard and it's driving me absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So I actually just want to kind of like see how this is going to look. Because I'm not sure if this is a design I'm going to go with yet. But I do want something a little bit raised up. So... Oops. Do I have torches on me? I do. Indeed. Yes. Cool. Because I think I'm going to have to put torches on here. Question is that going to light it up enough? I'm not so sure. Let's try it. F7? No, it's F3, isn't it? It's F3 and I'm looking for light position 7. So the block here is 7. And the question is... So we do have a couple of 7s. Like, here there isn't a 7. But sort of like when we move over here, there's a 7. So perhaps we do a pillar here. Let's just get rid of this. Maybe we just bring a pillar up here. And I think that I will bring this across like so. And then, ooh, what do I want to do here? You know what I think we'll do here? Let's get rid of that. I think what we'll do is... Nope, not that. Can I do... I can do a slab there like that, I suppose. But no, I don't. I want to do like an upside down stair. And I think this would then look better as an upside down stair. I don't know. If I were to do that, let's take this out. Let's take this out. And let's just grab this and pop this here. So sort of like the center is what's raised up. Which means this actually... No, that doesn't go there. I'm mucking this up. I'm messing it up. And da-dum-de-dum. There we go. And I like this kind of like raised up here. We could even go a little bit more crazy with this central bit. And put some acacia stairs in. Oh, that one's going to be a little bit difficult. Like so. Yeah, mind you, this episode is... I just saw a creeper like up on that wall there, look. I'm not happy about that. I do not want that creeper to blow up and ruin my entire storage area. Because knowing my luck, that is exactly what will happen. Yeah, the storage area is coming along. So, basically, what I've been trying to say this whole episode, I feel like I've just been blabbing. But what I'm trying to say this episode is... family matters. Family is important. And sometimes family isn't those that is blood. Sometimes family is those that are there for you. You know, some of my closest friends are more of a family to me than my own family is. You know, there's things that I would do for my closest mates that I wouldn't do for certain members of my family. You know, I have this like hard rule in life. I treat people how they treat me. You know, oh wow, you've got like a punch bow. And I've got... oh no. Let's get out of here. That skeleton is not going to die. He's just going to continuously make my life difficult, isn't he? I'm going to kill him on camera. Did he give me his bow? No, of course he didn't. Because why would he? Why would he be that nice? So anyway, let's actually just pillow up here. And so it's coming together. Where have we been working over here? Because I'm going to need a bit there, like so. And like so. Let's go and have a little look at this. And then we can just put a torch here, and torch here. I don't know if I like that or if I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave that to grow on me. But yeah, this is like a storage area. And obviously I'm going to repeat this design over here and over here. And I don't know what we're going to do here. Obviously the outside isn't going to look like a big block of acacia. We're going to take some sandstone to the outside design as well. But I think this is going to be plenty of storage space. I'm thinking of having one section dedicated to wood, the other section dedicated to mining goodies, and then the other section dedicated to all of the stuff. That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe I'll just sort of like do like an acacia and then a sandstone one next to each other because they're what we use the most in this area. I don't know yet. I don't know exactly how I'm going to structure this. But I do know that I've got to put these in over here and I've got to get this built up. And I am really kind of happy with how this came about. Like, this came out really good, in my opinion. You know, I mean, we could... Nope, that's not actually where I meant to put that. We could put extra, like, support struts in here just to give it some more, like, shape. Yeah, I think that looks actually pretty good doing that. Gives this some more room as well, yeah. Yeah, I like that. Let's take a picture. That's going to do it for this episode, guys. Bit of a long episode. I talked for longer than I wanted to. Completely defeated the purpose of trying to have an easy episode, so I didn't ruin my mouth. But the good thing is, actually, my teeth aren't playing up, actually, at the minute. So I've taken my mind off it. So thanks for that, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a like. It really helps out the channel and I really do appreciate it. So please do leave that like and click subscribe if you want to see more from me, guys. I'm KC. I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.